I could feel myself losing oxygen and recall thinking to myself, this is how I'm going to die, defending this entrance.
What I witnessed and experienced on January 6, 2021 was unlike anything I had ever seen.
Another takes a different tack, shouting, "You will die on your knees."
There was an attack carried out on January 6th, and a hitman sent them.
Watching the TV footage of those who entered the Capitol, you would actually think it was a normal tourist visit. Those are your words.
And I stand by that exact statement as I said it.
Republicans continue to try and downplay the horrific events of January 6th, even in the face of brutal testimony for the very officers who you just saw there, who kept all of them safe that day. Now one Democrat is making that fact a cornerstone of her campaign. Former Congresswoman Abby Finkenauer is challenging Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley for his Senate seat and running on his failure to stand up for democracy. Joining us now is former Congresswoman Abby Finkenauer. She's now a Democratic candidate for Iowa's U.S. Senate seat. Congresswoman, thank you for spending some time with us today. I'm going to play a little bit of your ad because I think it makes the point of what your candidacy is about. But first, tell me how the Republicans are aiding you in making your point and making your case.
Well, I'll tell you, I decided to run for U.S. Senate because Iowa, democracy, and our country are worth fighting for. And we saw even just last week, Senator Grassley step up onto the U.S. Senate floor and continue to defend Trump's lies, and months before that, push conspiracy theories about Arizona. That's the type of stuff that we cannot see happening in our country from U.S. senators. It's why we have to defeat these folks, and it's why we need everybody with us. Please go to abbyfinkenauer.com and join us, because we have got to win, and we have to make sure these folks are held accountable.
Let me play some of your ad, which I think is pretty vivid in terms of how and why this is so personal to you.
It was just a bench, but to a 17-year-old congressional page, it was literally my front row seat to democracy in action. And on January 6th, when I saw that bench standing between a violent mob and the U.S. House chamber, I knew the world had changed. And it changed me. You see, it's politicians like Senator Grassley and Mitch McConnell. They think they own democracy, and they were silent when it was attacked. They've turned their backs on democracy and on us.
You know, I watched that and I remember that Mitch McConnell's rationale for whipping votes against a bipartisan commission to investigate the January 6th attack was wrapped up in hearing James Carville or someone saying that this was going to be a brutal campaign issue for Republicans to stand with the insurrectionists. They've doubled down on that. Not only did they kill the January 6th 9/11 style independent commission where Democrats and Republicans would have had equal subpoena power, they're now barely blushing when the ex-president meets with the mother of Ashley Babbitt, when martyrdom is certainly signaled on behalf of the insurrectionists. Some Republicans go to the jail and visit them and describe them as political prisoners. I mean, the Republicans have taken a hard right into crazy town on this issue. Is your political bet scarier because of that fact?
Well, for me, this isn't about politics. It's about holding people accountable who have just let go of our democracy. I mean, we're talking about Senator Chuck Grassley here, somebody who's been in Washington for nearly 5 decades. And when he had a chance to push back against the lies that led to that day, not only didn't he do that, he actually pushed the conspiracies himself. That's the type of stuff we cannot see happening, and we've got to hold these folks accountable. It should not be happening this way in our country. I'm somebody who had, as you saw in that video, I was a page when I was 17, and it was my first time ever actually on a plane. And I went to Washington, D.C., had a front row seat to democracy and to that Capitol building where I saw the value in public service and this idea that we could have a country where Democrats and Republicans could work together, could get things done. And that was what we were founded on, was this idea that you could have different viewpoints, but still get together and keep working for our country. And when, again, you have a sitting U.S. president pushing conspiracy theories that led to that day. And then you have Senator Grassley and these senators and these representatives who continue to push it. And it's what's so concerning about what we're seeing from Senator Grassley, what we're seeing from these Republicans. And they're not all doing it. We saw, Mitt Romney, we saw Liz Cheney actually step up and tell the truth. That's all we're expecting. We're expecting the truth. We're expecting people to actually care about our democracy and defend it. And we didn't get that from Senator Grassley, and it's why we have to beat him.